the advantage that you can make way more advanced products right now, way faster than it was possible, I don't know, a few years ago, because
Yeah.
of those tools, because of the module, because of, I don't know, ready-made software stack, because of AI. So definitely there is we see that the whole industry is speeding up with this approach.
On this episode of Embedded Insiders, Ken and Robert Otreba, Chief Executive Officer at Grin, discuss the company's Edge AI products and full-stack engineering services. They recap the trends and demos showcased at Embedded World, highlighting the company's System on Module and Edge AI SBC solutions. Next, Rich and Sean Doherty, a vice president with Everspin Technologies, discuss the current memory crisis, specifically skyrocketing memory costs and the large capacities needed for artificial intelligence. But first, Ken and I are talking about sustainable AI, such as the growing environmental cost of AI and the role of data centers. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Embedded Insiders podcast. I'm Assistant Managing Editor Tiara Oliver, joined with our Editor-in-Chief, Ken Briota. Hello, Ken.
Hello, Tiara. Thanks for having me back.
Of course, every week.
How are things? Are you all recovered and dug out from Embedded World?
I am, but now it's allergy season, so that's hitting me.
It's brutal. It's brutal. My whole head is stuffed with wool.
Same.
Is what has happened, and I'm afraid that I'm going to require approximately a business 8 to 12 months in order to recover.
You know what? I think that makes sense. 100%.
Yeah. But I think we're in for perhaps a little bit of clearing of our sinuses, because we're going to talk about a spicy topic today.
Yes.
I personally love this one because everybody's talking about AI, and I've made some strong stances and some spicy takes on this in the past. Most notably saying that I think that large language models and that kind of large language generative AI, chatbot style AI is trash. I think it's not useful. I think it's or very rarely useful. It's a toy. It's not a business tool.
Yeah.
I don't think that's sort of where I sit. I know, strong take. But among the many reasons that I believe that, one of the big ones is the environmental impact. And there are two sort of avenues here. I think there are three, but there are two that most people talk about. The first is the energy. I saw an estimate recently that the AI like data center energy drain is equivalent to making that industry one of the top 20 countries in the world in terms of nations draining. Now, to be fair and or balanced, I want to say that many of these data center complexes are looking at generation methods and having their own power plants there, some of which are being done with sustainable renewable power, solar, wind, that kind of thing. I've heard a lot about geothermal lately on that score. And of course, famously, Microsoft got the rights to get 3 Mile Island restarted to do it with nuclear. And quite frankly, if they're going to start doing this with micronuclear plants, not the same kind that they use on nuke subs, but similar kind of things, I am much less worried. I'm a big fan of nukes, of nuclear power. I think it's the cleanest and best energy type that we've come up with in terms of balancing all of the factors that we need. So if they start doing that, I have less of a problem there. in terms of energy, but we're not there yet. We're still draining a ton of energy, and a lot of that is done through fossil fuels, which is bad.
Yeah.
The second thing that people talk about is water.
Yep.
The vast consumption of water and thirst that they use for cooling is crazy. I've heard wild proposals, like a lot of these things are being built near the polar circle, the Arctic Circle. I've heard proposals for building them under the ocean.
Wow.
I've heard proposals for data centers in space, all of which are very, theoretical.
Wow.
Well, the Arctic Circle ones are happening. But the huge amount of water, using more water than Nestle by some estimates, things like that. And but again, I want to be balanced. A lot of these systems are becoming closed loop, so they only consume the water once, or sort of like a radiator does.
Mm-hmm.
But when they leak, it's very dirty, and they will leak. They will, need to be refilled every so often, so it's not really a closed loop. There's no such thing as a truly closed loop. There's a lot of things like that. Also, water is so inefficient. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
better than other things, but like, why are we producing all this heat? What is it for? It's not for anything. It's a
Yeah.
machine to create a fake product to make real money, and that's bonkers to me. It's and the third thing that nobody talks about to me is the resource waste on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of code and brain power and uh everything that's being wasted on these large language models and data centers and training and pretending the kayfabe that this is intelligence when it's not. It's the same statistical guessing machine it's always been. If you look at the code, it's just they've scraped and stolen and plagiarized enough data that it looks like it's giving real conversation. It's the exact same guessing machine that it's always been. And half the time when you're interacting with an AI, maybe not half the time is exaggeration, but some percentage of the time when you're interacting with an AI, it's not actually an AI. There's
Mm-hmm.
a farm of chat bots somewhere in Southeast Asia, and the bots are people. And so
Yeah.
it's like, it's crazy. I forget. I just saw an expose on this. There's whole farms of like chat people in Southeast Asia that are pretending to be an AI because it's cheaper than paying, one of these companies, which is
No,
wild.
that's insane. I mean, you brought up some really, really good points that I didn't even think of. Mostly when I think about this, I think about whether there should be a cutoff or like some sort of restriction. Like, of course, there's the use of AI that's for important and useful things, but
Yeah.
then there's like that AI that people are just making silly pictures with and videos with and things that are just like, okay, I feel like at that point we need to cut it off. Like, it's not a necessity and it's wasteful. So I feel like there has to be a point where something steps in and says like, okay, we're going to use AI for the big and the good important things that are more useful and make a
Yeah.
difference long term, not for you to make goofy pictures of a
Right.
dog riding a
Right.
bike or something. I don't know.
It's crazy because like we've spent billions and billions of dollars, whole companies, billions of in revenue, and well, not a lot of revenue if you look at the actual numbers, but uh billions in proposed revenue,
Hmm.
huge expenses to build these plagiarism machines that
Yeah.
don't work and don't do anything. When AI is good at a lot of things and could be doing good things. So like I have almost no objection to data center infrastructure for, say, data analysis, trend identification, and uh correlation causation research.
Mm-hmm.
Build me all the supercomputer AI machines that you want for that. It's a little bit sad to me when I hear about somebody who's like, oh, I asked XYZ to, you know, tell me about the French Revolution. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man, go read a book. It's a
Yeah.
little sad that you have to go to some machine and ask it to give you bad information, and
Yeah.
that we've spent $1 billion. I think it's still true that ChatGPT costs OpenAI, right? Yeah, OpenAI like $5 a query. So they lose money on every
Jeez.
query. I think that's still true because of the compute power that's needed and everything. It's just is wild to me. I think that from an embedded computing point of view, like that's all, sort of very high level stuff.
Mm-hmm.
From an embedded computing point of view, I cannot think of a real solution, a real product, a real useful executable compute solution that requires querying a chatbot.
Yeah.
I just can't. These are engineers, developers, coders, experts in their field. They do not need a chatbot to tell them what variable to put in their code. They
Mm-hmm.
do not need that. They have code libraries that they've been using forever to then use some amalgam stolen code. I mean, aside from the fact that there's a huge legal liability, legal risk floating over this whole industry,
Mm-hmm.
having to do with IP law, and potentially theft and that kind of thing. Because I mean, leaving that all aside, they don't need this. What happens when it is revealed that the code is bad or belongs to somebody else, and they have to stop using these chatbots? All of these companies that are built on code generators go away in a day, instantly. All of the lack of engineering training in how to build code means that there's a huge shortage of software engineers and developers. It's a nightmare that we're creating here. It's a bad situation for 20 years from now. If people are coming out of college now not knowing how to write basic C+ or C++ or Rust or whatever, because they're relying on a code generation machine.
Yeah.
In the 1840s, there was a con man who invented a chess playing robot. It was called the Mechanical Turk, and it was a con. There was a man in a suit pretending to be a robot, playing chess against real people on stage, selling tickets. Everybody was astounded. That is what we have built. It's just everybody is so convinced. It's just we've built a Mechanical Turk. We've built, if it's actually intelligent, it's a guy in a suit. Otherwise, it's a machine making random moves based on statistical analysis.
Wow.
And sometimes it works.
Yeah.
The smartest computer in the world won at chess because you can win at chess by trying out every combination of chess move so fast that it seems like instantaneous.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it won at Go eventually, a much more complicated game with a lot more variables. It took longer, but it got there because there are just rules. If you give a machine rules and you tell it what's the next thing, it'll tell you what the next thing in a series is, in a pattern. But that's not thinking. So I think I am extremely negative about AI as a business venture, and I'm even more negative about it as, when it comes to generative AI.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there is a good case for AI at the edge, a good case for AI when used for statistical analysis, when used for data parsing, when used for computer vision, object recognition, all the stuff that AI is really, really good at. I think that that's great, and it works well. And building those things into products makes a lot of sense. And we do a ton of content around that stuff and lots of events and things. And that is where I put our focus because I think it's important and good engineering work. Every time I hear about somebody going, "Oh no, we're generating XYZ," I go, "Oops, you fell for it." It's a shame. Either they fell for it or they expect me to fall for it. I don't know which it is.
Yeah.
But an expert doesn't need a machine to tell him the answer. That just like the kid in class that everybody cheats off of doesn't need to cheat off of somebody.
Yeah. No, these are really good examples.
It feels like cheating in class to me. And the kid who cheated in class didn't learn anything. And I think that we are in the business of experts that are the kid that everybody cheated off of in class. Why are we building machines to try to convince everybody to cheat off of the machine?
Yeah.
And now we've gone a little far away from sustainability here, but all of this to say, the case I think is we've built a series of data centers to support a thing we don't need, and that is actually detrimental to business, detrimental to long-term growth and health of the industry, of any industry. And those data centers, on top of being the engine behind this terrible machine, are also accelerating climate change in a way that we cannot afford to do in a world where climate change, in a particular situation where climate change regulations are being spooled backwards anyway, in many places, including where I live and you live.
Yeah.
So it's bad business and bad social responsibility, quite frankly, in my opinion. But as an editorial note, these are all my opinions. Please feel free to fight with me in the comments.
Yeah. I mean, this topic is going to be relevant for a while, and we kind of just have to see where it goes and keep our eye on it and stay up with it. But I feel like, of course, the audience will know that this is something we'll be, of course, talking about for a while. So just join us on the journey, really.
Absolutely. And I want to hear counterpoints. I want to hear arguments. You've got a extraordinary claim that you're making when you say that generative AI is intelligent, and I expect to see extraordinary evidence if you have any.
Well said, yes. Now, here's Robert Otreba, Chief Executive Officer at Grin.
Hello, engineers, developers, and friends. Welcome to another segment of the Embedded Insiders podcast. I am Ken Briota, Editor-in-Chief of Embedded Computing Design, and your host. On this segment, we're going to talk a little bit about Edge AI with one of my newest friends, but about to be yours, Robert Otreba, CEO at Grin, a company specializing in microelectronics and some very cool recent Edge AI stuff. Robert, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Ken, for nice intro. Hello, everyone.
It's really a pleasure to have you. In case folks aren't familiar with you or familiar with Grin, can you give us a little bit of background on what you guys do?
Sure. So Grin is an electronics design house that is focusing to change customers' ideas into ready-made product, but we are also module makers. So all our modules are dedicated for Edge AI type of applications, and we are partnering the best silicon vendors to bring the best products to the market.
Yeah. So I just got back from Embedded World in Nuremberg a little while ago. You were there too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, it was
we've been
great
not only
show,
with our booth, but also, we have a lot of demos on different partners' booths.
I believe it. I thought the show was great. Really good energy, right? Like it felt like the show was back in grand form, you know?
Yes, exactly. So for us, this was the best embedded world show so far.
That's incredible. That's great to hear. And much like the last couple of years, Edge AI was a big topic of conversation, so that must have been exciting for you. One big thing that I noticed this year is that it was really about practicality. It was about not so much prototypes and pie in the sky use cases. There were real demos and real examples and real products ready for the field. I mean, I found that really heartening, really cool. Did you sort of have the same experience? Did you see the same kind of thing?
Yes, exactly. So from the, let's say, just discussions and taking Edge AI as a technology that could be interesting for customers, definitely this year we see way more engagements. And also, as you said, one of our products was already shown there by one of our customer. Based on our module, we've been presenting a lot of demos, and there is way more interest to real projects in this technology.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you, I mean, other than your own, of course, did you see any favorites out there? Did you see anything that you thought was particularly cool or innovative or interesting?
To be honest, I was completely booked with the meeting, so this year I had no chance to search for the new stuff.
Slight confession, likewise, so was I. That's why I keep asking people that, because I want to find out from them what they saw, because I was so booked up that I had very little time to just sort of wander the floor and look for some stuff. Although, to be fair, I did see some very cool things. I don't know if you knew this, but in the embedded computing design booth, we do a thing that I'm really proud of called the dev kit zone. So there's a bunch of, as you might imagine, dev kits in there, and we had some cool Edge AI stuff there. There was an interesting module from a company called Sundance that was really, really interesting, and some cool stuff. I know you guys just announced a couple of months ago a new product that is now, you were telling me before we started the call, available to purchase. What is that?
Yes. So we spoke that time about our Genio SOM and Genio board. So the single board computer equipped with our module that it's based on MediaTek Genio 700 and processor. And this product right now, it's also live at DigiKey, Mouser, soon also at RS Components, TME. So we implemented this in global distribution. We see a lot of interest. Of course, product was before, but of course not available in the let's say via distributors. So we've been already making projects with customers around this. But I hope that this will bring even more opportunities to us.
Absolutely. And I invite folks listening to go check that out if you're in, and I can't imagine that you're not in the Edge AI space these days. What's your take on the physical AI discussion? Do you guys play in that arena at all? I mean, it seems like that was another big topic of discussion at Embedded World.
Yeah, definitely. So this is the let's say we are providing tools, we are providing expertise to make it happen. Of course, with our modules or boards, customers can do their own designs, but on the top of that, of course, we can provide our expertise to help them make everything from scratch or using our modules. In this area.
I have a little bit of a hot take on the topic of physical AI. I don't think it's actually a necessary term. I think that's, if you think about how people are describing physical AI, it's computing at the edge, engaging with physical objects and the real world. To me, that's what embedded computing's been doing forever. That's exactly what embedded computing is. So to me, it's just another hype term, and I kind of hate it. I kind of don't think it's that, like, obviously People are talking about it. I've got to report on it. But on this one, I've got to disagree with some of the biggest players out there who are trying to make physical AI happen. I think they're just trying to have another marketing hype term that they can work around, and I kind of don't have time for it.
Yes. But Ken, same was with with IoT. Before IoT was a term in the industry. We've been doing this way before, and this was, I don't know, there were different lanes, like machine to machine or something like this. But when this name like IoT was created, it creates also more buzz, more interest from people that had no clue before about, let's say, about the wireless communication or communication at all between devices and other systems. So maybe this is also the way how to make this technology more popular on the embedded side.
That's a very good take. That's a very interesting take. You probably don't know this, but my background is in IoT reporting. I covered IoT for almost 15 years before coming into pure embedded spaces. Mm-hmm. And I remember that sort of changeover from ML to IoT in the terminology. And yes, a lot of people were saying the same thing. Although I think that you can distinguish between what is pure machine learning and what IoT has become to encompass. So I don't think it for me, and I'm a little bit biased here, as I said. I came out of the IoT industry space, especially industrial IoT. For me, I think there's a distinction there, and this is a little different. But also, I think that IoT as a distinct industry is disappearing into embedded. I think that the layers are flattening out and becoming one sort of merged horizontal layer that's going to become ubiquitous across all compute, the way things are building. So I both will defend IoT's honor while also predicting its demise.
Yes.
So tell me we're still, although not nearly as early in 2026 as my brain says we should be, pretty early in this year. What are some of the trends that you've seen that you're excited about as we move through the rest of the year?
Mm-hmm. So what we can see that it's interesting, that for sure there's every month, every day we can see that the new announcements of the new technology of new chips, going down with the nanometers, adding more AI capabilities and so on. And of course, this creates, let's say, even more complexity to, let's say, for engineers. So this was also our idea to start making, let's say, modules and SBCs, so ready-made tools that, let's say, engineers can start working from, let's say, ready-made puzzles. And I think that this will be the trend, because the time when you can do everything from scratch by yourself within company, I think that it passed. Right now, we are also thinking in our designs and let's say in discussions with customers, it's more like choosing the building blocks and choosing the right ecosystem, because a lot of parts are there. The complexity right now, it's how to connect them. But let's say, what is the advantage that you can make way more advanced products right now, way faster than it was possible, I don't know, a few years ago, because of those tools, because of the module, because of, I don't know, ready-made software stack, because of AI. So definitely there is we see that the whole industry is speeding up with this approach.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I guess the last thing that we should talk about is Microelectronics US. We're both going to be there. I'm going to be moderating a couple of panels. What are you looking forward to at the show?
So this will be first. This event will be first for us. So this will be our first presence there. So for sure, we would like to discover, let's say, what are the visitors interested in, and of course, we would like to showcase what we are doing the best, how to help them, how to find we are also looking forward to find some new partners, new interesting discussions with both customers, partners, and to present what we can do the best to help customers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a really fun show. It'll be my first time there too. In fact, I think this is the first time they've done a US show. I might be wrong about that.
Yes. But in UK, we've been also not present before on this show.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be really, really great. I'm really looking forward to the panels that I'm going to be moderating. And I'm really looking forward to meeting everybody down in Austin. We're about a month out from that show. So if you folks are in the Austin, Texas area or willing to travel there, you should check out this new US show, Microelectronics US. They've been in the UK forever. They've been doing great shows there for a long time. So come on down, and if you bump into me or Robert, say hello, get us a coffee. We'd love to chat.
Yes, definitely.
Robert, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been a real pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you very much, Ken, and thank you.
No, thank you. And folks out there listening, I really appreciate you joining us here on Embedded Insiders podcast. Whether or not you're listening to us on your favorite podcasting platform or just playing us in the background on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to us, and we'll see you again real soon. I've been Ken Briota, Editor-in-Chief at Embedded Computing Design, and your host. I'll see you all real soon.
Now here's Sean Doherty, a Vice President with Everspin Technologies.
Good afternoon. My name is Rich Ness. I am with Embedded Computing Design. My guest this week is Sean Doherty. He is a Vice President at Everspin. How you doing, Sean?
I'm doing well, Rich. How are you?
I'm doing great. So to prep the audience, we ran into each other last week. Boy, I don't even remember when it was.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, at Embedded World in Nuremberg, and there were a couple of themes that everybody wanted to talk about. One was artificial intelligence, one was CRA, but the other one that people want to talk about, but nobody wanted to talk about, was the memory crisis, the memory crunch, whatever you want to call it. And you guys at Everspin are sort of in the thick of this. So before we talk about that, let me just give you a second or two to talk about Everspin so that the audience understands where you're coming from. What do you guys do?
Yeah, so fundamentally, we make non-volatile memory, but we make very, very high performative non-volatile memory. Much higher write bandwidth, read bandwidth, much higher endurance, and much higher data retention. Okay,
well, that was easy. Thank you. So first, is there a memory crisis?
Absolutely. I think you felt it at the show, and the memory crisis is driven by the AI boom and everybody and anybody feeding the insatiable demand of the AI deployments that are going on, which are real and are being fully utilized as they get deployed. So everybody that's in the market that makes memories is trying to feed that. Primarily, it's not really in my background in the MRAM customers, but if you look at the demand for HBM, for DRAM, for NAND, all of that is pushing capacity decisions for the NOR makers to feed into that space. So if they have capacity and are able to shift into those players, they are. And over the last quarters and years, you've seen people in the non-volatile in the NOR space decommitting customer supply and prices going through the roof. And Everspin and MRAM has been extremely stable on capacity and extremely stable on price and lead time.
But we've seen memory intensive applications before. Why is this one different?
Well, I think we've seen memory intensive applications before, and I think we've seen the industry for 20 plus years commoditizing memory in all shapes and forms, forcing players off the playing field because it became commercially non-viable. And now it's literally getting to the point where everybody points to memory in the memory wall as being the performance bottleneck that is stopping advancement or limiting the upside of advancement. And you see this around the NVIDIA architectures, the AMD architectures, the Intel architectures, that they need that HBM and that DRAM. And the amount of that just continues to skyrocket as AI matures, the amount of memory required to feed it, and the bandwidth and the networking of moving the memory around to get to the right compute at the right time has created this challenge.
So being the skeptic that I'm supposed to be, is this real or is it fabricated? Are the memory guys producing as much as they can, or are they holding back to artificially inflate the prices?
It's real. No, it's flat out real. And again, you know, the market has, you know, pushed out players off of the field. For years, it was everybody jump on, you know, the DRAM architecture that the PC and the server guys are using, because you would benefit from the commercial price drop of that technology. Now everybody gets on that same technology at the same time. And for years, we've seen the transition from DDR3 to DDR4, from DDR4 to DDR5 as the prices move, and everyone moved with it. So everybody's on the same technology, and all of these deployments are being fully saturated. So I don't, unlike the networking build out dark fiber back in the day where you had all this capacity that wasn't being utilized, I do not believe there is any compute that is being deployed that is, as soon as it's deployed, it's not fully being utilized. So I don't believe that there's, you know, all these NVIDIA architects sitting out there that aren't being fired up and aren't being used if they have the ability. So I believe it's real.
And I think you said this, but I want to be very clear about it. Are we putting the guys who are willing to pay the higher prices, AKA the data centers, at the front of the line?
I mean, I'm not in those rooms, but I would be shocked if you're not, right? I mean, I think that's, we've been through supply challenges a dozen times, and every time the folks that are paying the most tend to move to the top and in front of the line. I don't think that's being done necessarily, you know, with a lack of integrity. But at the end of the day, if you put yourself in any of these memory vendors' positions, they've spent 20 plus years being commoditized. And now they're at the table with what the architectures, the systems, and the customers need, and they're able to command, you know, the margin and the profit they need to invest, Rich. And this is the key point, right? At the same time, if you don't want this to exist for 20 years, then these guys need to invest, put more holes in the ground, build more capacity, and not just build capacity, but innovate on architectures. But to be quite honest, there hasn't been the level of investment in memory architectures the way there's been investment in funding in other areas of tech. So, you know, if you want the memory guys to produce more memory, they're going to have to make enough money to justify that investment and capacity and R&D.
But that's a solution that's many years down the road.
Correct.
What's the solution for this year and next year?
So to be quite honest, I believe there's not a real short term, unlike the previous supply challenge where it came on like overnight and people were lines down. I think right now there's some supply out there and people are moving. I think the challenge people are getting is they're not getting supply agreements and supply commitments that make them feel good about all of 26 and 27. So it's not clear to me yet that the acute problem on the near term, it is there on the DRAM stuff, and I think that's happening and people are chasing, but I don't think that's happening yet in the non-volatiles. But to be quite honest, I don't know if there is a near-term solution other than what is needed to level the playing field to make sure that the deployments happen. As we learned the lesson last time, you can feed one segment of the industry, give all the supply to the server guy, but if the server guy can't power the rack, can't cool the data center, can't do all this stuff, all of these solutions, industrial solutions that power and manage the data center, all require a lot of the same technology. So I think you'll see these allocations, then you'll see another phase of reallocation when they can't deploy the solution because the underlying infrastructure can't deploy. You'll see a reallocation of some of this stuff to make sure that you can maximize, again, what you can deploy with a fixed capacity in a given window.
It seemed like the last time we had this crunch, it was the automotive space that got hit the hardest. What space do you see taking the biggest hit this time around?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I think it's too early to tell. My guess is it would probably be the commercial commoditized space will probably get hit the most. You saw end of last year where Samsung was having an internal battle on whether or not phones got the parts or those parts went elsewhere. So I think the widgets and the toys may get the biggest impact and be forced to do the most change. But I think anything that plays in AI will be less impacted, and that's across industrial and automotive. And if you were at the show, right? AI is in everything, and I think those solutions that are able to justify the ROI on the investment are probably going to do better than ones that are struggling there.
Do you think it could be geography based, where people sort of, I won't say help their friends out, but help their friends out?
I think those things always play, right? I think the lessons of the last crisis that's still fresh in minds is that certain geographies and governments and folks have the ability to flip some levers to get what they need, and those will always those cards will always get played where they need to, and again, your ecosystem will always kind of think of the survivor game, right, where people get together and we saw that last time where big guys were swapping capacity on, hey, I got some capacity on this node, but I need it over here. You need it on this node. So it's amazing where all of a sudden allegiances and allies all of a sudden get formed in a crisis. So I think you'll see some of that stuff play out if and when it becomes acute.
So let's have full disclosure. Is this a good thing for Everspin?
Yes, I think because number one, we have supply, we have upside capacity, we have a current shipping solution that is pin compatible and protocol compatible with many of the NOR parts that are on the market. So if customers have challenges, we're able to step in there and offer them an alternative. I promise you I won't commoditize myself or my product because I believe in the value, and I think my customers will believe in the value once they see it. But we will work with customers to help solve problems. And over the last month, we've had many conversations where, number one, customers weren't aware of the pin compatibility and how easy it would be to modify their manufacturing and driver to get us qualled on their system as a second or a third source, just to provide insurance. So we're having a lot of those conversations. And I think another memory vendor that's able to provide a capacity and solve problems is always good. Now, some of them may not be long-term customers, but I believe they'll learn our technology. I believe I will earn their trust in their business, and an opportunity to come back and talk about what we're bringing to the table with respect to our roadmap and innovation.
That sounds great. You need memory, you call Sean. He's got it, right?
I like the way you talk, Rich.
Very good. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time, Sean, but also being honest and forthcoming, because this is a real problem that we need to deal with.
Agreed. I'm looking forward to engaging with customers and partners as they see these challenges arise.
Very good. That's Sean Dougherty. He is a vice president with Everspin, and I am Rich Nass with Embedded Computing Design.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Embedded Insiders. For more daily news, videos, and podcasts, visit our website at embeddedcomputing.com.